Welcome everyone to our Elimination Round 2 press conference for the 2018 Challenge Select. And today's day winner, Mr. James Watson. James, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you and your friend Scott Suggs are often calling on the prayer warriors to pray for you and empower you and Scott to do better and fish better.
Yes.
Both of you fished quite well today, you coming out on top. So did the prayer warriors do their job?
Well, I did for Suggs, and I don't know if Suggs if it was reciprocal or not. To be honest with you.
Well, I mean, you finished in first, so I think
I did, but I don't know. I don't know that Scott Suggs put me on the prayer chain or not, like I did him, and all of America did. That's why Scott did so well today.
Good job.
Thank you.
Again today. Why do you think the fishing was so slow today?
This because we were fishing in an area of the lake that I personally would not stop and waste 1 minute in. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, it's not the main. It's the main body of the lake, and it's somewhere I definitely would not want to be fishing this time of year. So the stripers got things stirred up out there. There's a lot of stripers in that lake.
I want to get right to like the main part of your day. You caught 3 fish back to back to back in like a 20-minute period, like super quick. Like that was like the meat of your day. Talk about the conditions that were present during that time that allowed you to catch those fish.
Well, I started. When I caught those 3 fish, I'd actually caught my first fish of the day, and I was within 5 yards of my waypoint, and they were all topwater fish. And there's something about that particular area there produced, I believe, 5 of my keeper fish today. I don't know what's so special about it, but it was on a point. You know, the big rocks were way against the bank. They weren't out. At least I don't think they were. The grass wasn't present. It seems like the bait, for whatever reason, held in this particular 40-yard circle. And I kept making laps through there, and I'd get a bite. And then I think it was beginning the second period, I went back through there and had some really good bites. And they weren't stripers that time. I had a lot of striper bites today. Caught a lot of stripers.
Do you have any history fishing in this area? And if so, what were your expectations?
No, I don't. I don't have any history fishing here. Lake Hartwell is probably the closest that I've ever fished around here. We do have the Forest Wood Cup coming up here. I didn't get to investigate because of our rules, but the expectations were I didn't expect to be any super high weights. Just because we fish a little bit different Major League fishing than we do if we're fishing for a 5-fish limit. So I expected to fish fast and furious, and it's exactly, it worked out perfectly today. It really helped too that we had an overcast day today. We had a little breeze. I mean, the conditions were perfect for what the way I caught my fish today.
James, man, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
What a good win, and that's actually what I want to talk to you about. You talked a little bit about a top water and clear skies today, or I'm sorry, overcast skies. So how did you catch it? What was the pattern?
Well, when I was doing my drive-through or drive around, our 30-minute drive around, I was looking for points. I was looking for maybe some long, shallow bars, something that fish would relate to in a day like today, that you could throw a spook or a walking bait or a wake bait. I prefer to throw wake baits because I can fish so much faster with a wake bait. And I wanted to look at some of those, you know, see if they had some rock piles and this and that. And my drive through, and I stopped actually on past one of my points and looked at the back in the cut and looked at the bank and looked everything over. But as I was driving through, I noticed a local sitting way out in this particular bay. And it got my attention because there was fish surfacing all around him. I thought, he's there for a reason. There's fish surfacing around there. I need to investigate that. And my very first cast, I was probably 100 yards away from this guy. And very first cast was a really nice striper on a topwater walking bait. And I said, okay. And went on through there, had another striper bite, and I thought, all right, he caught a striper. I saw him catch one. I thought, nah, I want to get out of here. I'm not going to give up on my topwater bite. I'm going to get out of here because the stripers are pretty dang thick here. The stripers and bass will mix in with each other. If you're willing to put up with it and you're willing to get cut up and spined and hooked and everything else,
They'll
you can
mix
do that.
together, they will feed together.
They will feed together. They will
Okay.
feed together. And eventually stripers will run the bass off, but there's always a remnant of some sort of bass there. As slow as today was, I chose to stay where all that bait was. This is a blueback herring lake. I don't have a lot of experience in it, but I do know that bass tend not to get on the bank on blue heron lakes. They tend to get out there, and they're nomads, and they drift wherever this bait is. Well, the stripers just happen to be in all this bait too, so you're going to have to deal with that. And if you're willing to deal with it, you're going to catch a striper every once in a while. And if you're
Did you
able,
cut up?
I did. I got cut up and spined, and I'll tell you this: I'm going to go buy a heavy-duty pair of leather gloves for the next round, because I'm not going to unhook the stripers the way I did today. It was too dangerous. So
James, you said you're gonna go buy some gloves for that, so this is, will you change anything on your setup, moving on to the sudden death?
I do have to. I had some problems with my reel today, and it wasn't the reel's fault. It's the way I was using it. I had an 8-to-1 gear ratio reel and 50-pound braid, and if I tried to overpower my cast at times, my braid would bind up and pop my bait real hard. I broke four of my Strike King wake sheds on cast on snapbacks, and it's because that reel is way too fast. I'm going to downgrade to a Bass Pro Shops Carbon Light 7-to-1 Johnny Morris Carbon Light reel instead of that Titan, the Titan Bass Pro Titan reel that I was using. So it wasn't perfect, but I'm gonna get it situated and get it fixed. So I'm gonna be squared away. If we get to stay on Lake Murray, I'm very confident in my pattern. Whether the sun's out or whether it's overcast, I'm still confident that I can catch them doing that right there. And I may just take 4 or 5 rods and force myself to do it now that I've seen what I've seen.
James, it was raining on and off today. How did that change your fishing based on whether there was precipitation or not?
It didn't change. Those fish are going to set up on the same places, whether the sun's shining or whether it's not. The wind can dictate where some of that bait is blown. Today the wind blew a little bit in the middle of the second period and in most of the third period. I'm confident that they will bite that Strike King wake shad with no wind. I'm confident of that. It's all about seeing fish getting chased and staying in that area and staying with that bait. And every once in a while, fish is going to come up and blow up. I did not catch one single fish, one bass today throwing at a blow up. I did not do it. All my fish were blind.
Which leads into, so this whole thing with this blueback herring, because they're different than other bait fish in the way that they move. They're offshore. They're not necessarily relative to any kind of brush or structure or whatever. How do you capitalize on that, or how do you kind of sort your day out around that particular phenomenon? Because how do you know where they're going to be? You can't know where they're going to be.
It's hard. Good question. And I'm here to tell you that James Watson got extremely lucky today. I got extremely lucky today that where I threw my lure, there happened to be fish. I mean, I could have fished 50 points and never had a strike. Today I fished 5 and I caught them off 3 places. And 2 of my keepers were first cast on the spot. I'm talking throw the trolling motor in, throw up there, and caught one on the first cast. Not to get another bass bite the other 20 minutes circling it. Twice that happened today. So what's that tell me for my game plan coming to the it's elimination round? No, sudden death. Going to the sudden death, I might make as many stops as I possibly can. I learned a ton that I hope will help me. And this could sidetrack me, could really get me just so blinders on, focused on one thing that it hurts me. But right now, I feel very confident that that's what I need to be doing come sudden death.
Speaking of sudden death, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. You know, this is the season. We've got a new format. You've got to advance twice and make the championship round before you even have the opportunity to go on to win that, to go on to the Cup. How does this win feel today to know that you put yourself in position to make the sudden death? If you move on from there, you go to the championship. If you win it, you're going to the Cup.
You bet.
How do you feel?
Well, I feel great about it, you know, especially, you know, considering that at the last event I caught 2 bass. And, you know, it's hard as a professional angler to, sometimes it's harder on others than me, and sometimes I take things really hard. But it's difficult as a professional angler to do as poorly as I did in the last event. So you really cherish the times that you get to sit up here in a press conference and talk about how you won. Because there's more times that I sit out there in my boat beating myself up over a crappy day. That's the bottom line, and that's fishing. And I'm not as consistent as some of these other guys are. And everybody wants to be.
Just following up with that real quick, you know, the bottom 2 select anglers at the end of the season are out, and I know all you guys are worried about it. You got that monkey off your back, don't you?
Well, I do, but you know, next year we'll have 2 more events, and you know, that's what people don't understand. You could be on top of the world winning every tournament there is, and then show up at a major league fishing, and you got one day to be all you can be. And
well, congratulations.
And today, you know, I was fortunate. I mean, I was embarrassed at Ouachita. I mean, completely embarrassed. A lake that I should have done well in, a lake that, you know, I've got 8 or 10 days on it. You know, I just fished like crap. I didn't do it right. And when things go right, you win. And things went right for me today. Now, and I'll take it.
We all noticed a change in you today. What's with the flat brim hat?
Flat brim hat. That's all. That's you know. I decided to just change it up a little bit and go flat brim. I mean, it works for some of these other guys. Look at Cody Meyer. I mean, Cody Meyer wears flat brim hat. I mean, look at Gerald Swindle. He wears one.
Those are some pretty cool dudes.
Yeah. Well, they're not as cool as me, but
Fred
Fred Robanis. Look at that. Boom, boom. So, yeah. So.
Well, James, one last question before we let you go. I know you had a pretty epic catch there at the end, epic soundtrack, epic moment for you.
Oh, yeah.
Could you just tell us that story as
Oh,
we wrap
my
up
gosh.
today?
You know, a lot of people don't take me very seriously, and that's all right. I'm fine with that because I like to have a good time and joke and harass people and get harassed I get harassed by everybody. Some people don't know that about me, but there isn't very many people out here on the trail that don't rib me every chance that they get. Well, I had Kiss blaring in the background today when I caught my winning fish, and the way it all panned out, it was just, you couldn't have scripted it any better. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And on top of it, it was a winning fish. And it all happened from leaving a spot. The music started, got to the spot, the music's playing, throw the trolling motor in.
What was the song?
Kiss, Love Gun. It's all about bass fishing. So it was pretty funny.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for being here with
All
us
right,
today,
thank you.
James, and congratulations again on your win.
Thank
Good luck
you.
in sudden death.